them come. This is their fate.
I'm gonna do my Birdman. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, JPeasy and Joshua Boy. We are here to talk about the news, gaming, and all in between. But before we do, as usual, we got some life updates. We got some good times of rolling, especially for Jalen in.
Jalen got a lot to say.
He got lots to say
he
today.
Crossed the threshold.
Oh, he done crossed the threshold, the mighty threshold. But yeah, Jalen, Josh. I don't know who want to start, but update the people, and then I, update on myself.
But part of my last few weeks revolve around Jalen, so I'm gonna let him take this.
Man, go ahead, Josh. Your turn, man. No, actually, Deontay, he didn't go for it at this point. Everything been smooth. Y'all know last time y'all see me, I ain't want me. I'm how y'all all over me.
Hey, they want to do something. Yeah, that forward up.
Man, your boy finally graduated. Done with PA school. Able to close this chapter of my life. I still got to do like some other like wrap up things and stuff like that, but man, I've been laying low, relaxing for the past week or so. I'm like, man, this time need to slow down because this relaxation, I've been getting it umpteenth million naps. I'm like, so these naps, huh? I ain't seen these before. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to figure out what's next. Now I ain't in school for like I was the past 2 years, so super blessed. Happy to see my boys. They came in town to support me and stuff like that. That's definitely love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we caught a couple L's, you know what I'm saying, as a group. But I mean, we made it out. So true. But I mean, champagne, man. But nah, it was all an experience though. So
he just got just a little too tipsy. That's all. That ain't nothing but a little something. Is it 2-2-1-3-3 out 8-0-0? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's 2-2-1. 2-8-0? I
don't know what
I thought it was 2-2-1-3-3 out 8-0-0. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyways.
2-8-1. Yeah, 2-8-1-3-3-0-8-0-0-4.
I know it was the 8-0-0-4 because that joke was to go hard. But yeah, it was good times. Definitely great times, great memories. Enjoyed it. But yeah, what about you, Josh?
Yeah, I ain't graduating yet, but coming on my last few days this week of school. Gonna have a nice summer, nice vacation, back to a normal schedule.
Yeah.
I stopped in Cheyenne for a little bit, showed Jalen some love.
Man, Cheyenne, I'm screaming. She on.
And they was driving like Need for Speed drivers out there, but Deontay and Jalen got us around the city safe. Otherwise I'm just excited to be done with school. Not done, but like done for this semester. Can relax because I mean Jalen can attest to it. Like school is crazy, especially like grad school and like post-secondary school and all that. I'm gonna get some naps in. Probably play some Apex with y'all again. I ain't played with y'all in a couple months.
Yeah, man, missing in action.
Yeah. But I'm doing good. How about you, Deontay?
You know me, man. I'm just appreciative of friends, family, everything that's I feeling very much so blessed. For real, and like a lot of different spaces and avenues. Just happy. That's all. Just a happy individual at this point in time. There's some weird stuff, sad stuff going on in the world, but I'm just, just being thankful for what I do got and who I am surrounded by, and that's always cool, just cool to reflect, think about what you got, truly what's important, and really be happy and genuinely happy about your situation. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm happy. I'm playing video games, loving the family, loving the wife. There's nothing to really truly complain about at the moment. So that's where I'm at. But been playing a lot of Def Jam Fight for New York. I don't know why, but it's very accessible because that's that beautiful, beautiful Steam Deck. So I've been getting real crispy on there. Cop some new Jordan. I think they had the Jordan 16s, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the number.
Man, you caught some Jordans.
I copped some Jordan 16s on the game, man. I just said I was playing Fight for New York.
Nah.
No, it's not the 16. It was the 18s. Yeah, the 18s. Yeah, so, but yeah. I've been just chilling, playing the game, watching my kids. I watched a few TV shows, which we're going to talk about, some of the topics. If you don't know, we gonna definitely talk about that Halo TV show. Very, very interesting. So we're gonna try to stay on topic, talk about games, but there is some other stuff we're gonna talk about too. Stuff to get out the way. Kendrick dropped the album. Kevin Samuels passed. I don't know if we actually. I don't know if he passed before the last one or if it was after, but yeah, it's just weird stuff happening. I'm not saying that he was a idol of mine. That's just weird about the whole situation and how it occurred and the reaction after death is kind of what I want to talk about. I'm not really talking about Kevin Samuels the person because I would have talked about him when he was alive. It was more about just his untimely death and a reaction to untimely death. But yeah. So let's get into it. Let's start somewhere interesting. What do we got? A lot of hot takes and conversation around right now. We got Apex Legends, new maps, new castle. We got Kendrick Lamar album, that Halo show. Where do you want to start, people? Where do you want to start? Because I can start it, but I'd rather see where y'all want to start.
Man, Josh, you got any preferences? Otherwise, I'll say something.
I don't know. I normally we go with the longer topic, but if y'all want to do the shorter ones, which might be Halo or something else, I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Let's go with the Well, go ahead, Jalen. Sorry for cutting you off.
I was gonna say no. You good? I was gonna say. I mean, we can try something different. Yeah, go for the shorter topics.
All right, let's start with Halo. Oh boy. Okay. Let's dissect this. As I was watching and I got through all the episodes. I'm not sure if Josh got through all the episodes, but I'm pretty sure you read about it and heard about it. And anyways, if you pull that scene out of context, it's horrendous. If you put it into context, it's still horrendous. But it's a TV show. So I just can't I can't say that it was terrible. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, spoiler alert, Master Chief gets some master cheeks. And now when I say master cheeks, he's having sex in the show. You obviously are able to see his face. They reveal his face. They give him emotions, all this extra stuff. He is no longer the Master Chief you know and love. because you didn't really know Master Chief, really, did you? But you don't want to accept that maybe you couldn't really do much with that character if you didn't show his face, which is fine. I might upset some of you, but my hot take, my thoughts behind it are simple. It does not make sense for them to have sex. It's basically it is a war crime. He is supposed to be a general, or he's supposed to be the Master Chief. It's a war crime to have sex with a captive, especially when you think that she works for the enemy. First off, that's just stupid. It's a bad plot line. You shouldn't probably have it in there. But in a TV show, it's fine because you have to have something that people want to root for. Obviously, they didn't have to have sex to have that happen. They didn't have to have sex to have that connection. But unfortunately, people are talking. And that's pretty much why they put it in there. Because overall, the show is probably mediocre at best. It's not the greatest show. It's not the worst show I've watched. It's not the greatest show I've watched. But there has to be something at the end that causes you to think, okay, this is, I don't know, palatable for the next season. But it's just honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of weird things that they tried that didn't really pan out. Like, the Covenant was just not, it's just not there enough. Especially for them to be the main threat, you know? It was all about their technology and what they could do for you and finding the Halo ring. It just felt like the longest non-beneficial payoff in the world. But what I can tell you is that probably season 2 might be better if it's greenlit. I could tell you that where they set it up and where they left off, it could be a decent season 2. I'm not going to hate on the show because there's a couple scenes, well, not a couple, but a few scenes that just are out of place. I liked some of the characters. I enjoyed the world. I'm glad they tried it. And some of the locations and the scenery was nice. I mean, it's not next level. I don't know why people think because Microsoft is behind it, they're going to throw millions and millions of dollars at this production. I just think if they can create something that's decent to watch and people will enjoy, just forget about the Halo name. But at the same time, people that are so invested into like the characters and like the people, the world and everything, they're never going to be satisfied. So I'm so glad I don't really care about the character Master Chief. I'm so glad I don't care about the story because I was able to watch the show and enjoy it for the simple stuff, you know. They have a nice character. The what's her name? Kiwan. She a decent character. She has a hero effect. You want to root for her, even though she's stupid. But she's a decent character enough that you'll want to watch her in the future and see where she goes with her legacy or whatever. The black character, he's probably the most entertaining to watch because he had a lot of interesting, scenes. He was a lot of fighting scenes, and he had a lot of conversation and dialogue that kind of made him seem like a more wise and helpful, kind of individual. It was just more of he was a very role. His role was to protect, but his role was to not like it. So he played that well. That's fine. But overall, I didn't hate the show. I just I didn't love it either. I don't think they needed to have sex, but it didn't shock me that was going to happen. I mean, they were showing boobies and butts throughout the whole thing. I was just like, okay, why y'all keep showing everybody booty? I'm like, are y'all trying to just shoot for the rated R and not really put in the violence and everything that I saw in the first episode just did not match it the rest of the episodes, So it felt like they was playing a trick on us. I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of stuff was just starting to, you know, not be the. It just didn't accumulate to what I thought it would be. But in no means is it a terrible show. It's just not the greatest show. I don't think they did. I, I can't say they didn't do Master Chief any justice because Master Chief is a mute, in my opinion. He has like one-liners. He does cool stuff, but he is not a character that I enjoy to say, "Oh, he's just fantastic. He's such well. He's so well written." Like that's not freaking Master Chief. So I don't understand why people are so mad with him creating Master Chief. I think if people get over the fact that that is what they chose to do for Master Chief, they might like the show in a little way. But is it like a wreck? No, I just think people are more overtly harsh on those types of on those types of shows because they are attached to franchises they know and love for years. So, that's my take. It might be hot, might not be. I mean, people might like it. I like it enough to watch season 2, but I'm not running to season 2. That is the take. What's your thoughts on Halo, Josh and Jalen? If you got any.
So for yeah, like I I guess I'm someone who doesn't watch too many TV shows, but when it comes to stuff like sci-fi, I think a lot of sci-fi tends to be pretty generic, and sci-fi TV shows tend to be generic. Maybe they have like one or two things that make them like stand out, but overall, uh, they'll their budget has to be low because it's a TV show. They got 10 episodes, blah blah blah, but they have like big ideas and they don't have the budget for it. And I feel like this Halo show fits in there. It's from Microsoft and it's on like a bigger platform, I guess, but they're not gonna give it like full like movie money or like Disney money or anything like that. So they have to cut corners and things like that. And I expected that, and I expected them to change things. I think overall that it seems like they did some of it justice with like their costumes and I guess some of the scenery and environment. But overall they have to like still keep it under budget. Um, my thing is that you can change the character, but I feel like how put it, you can change the franchise to be something more appealing, but I don't feel like the changes that they're making are artistic. Like this is the vision we had, so we wanted to change it, or oh, this doesn't really make sense in the game or something, so we're gonna replace it with something that we feel like is better. I don't really get that impression from it. It seems like how to put it in HBO, like people always say it, like in the first 10 minutes of a new HBO show, somebody's gonna be naked because that's the draw. It's rated R. You want to see people fighting, you want to see blood, you want to see sex, and you want to have like an interesting story. So that's what people come to it. And I feel like Halo wasn't banking on like fans to get in. We're just gonna get people to watch this because it's a adult sci-fi show, and hopefully they'll stick with it because of that. I don't really mind that, but I feel like they could have done better because Microsoft had been working on the TV show and the Halo movies and stuff since like the Xbox One came out, and this is the best they have from it. And they even had like other TV shows like Halo 4, I think, had like actual like TV show videos in the game or something that you could unlock, and those characters went on to Halo 5, and it's like they've been trying to do it for a while, but this seems like weird that this is their big push that, oh, we're not gonna do this stuff anymore that we did in the games. We're gonna change the story completely, put it on Paramount, and have Master Chief smash it. uh,
Master
and,
Cheeks is just so funny to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Other than that, like I can probably critique it for like the story. It don't make sense, and it's like, oh, they're trying to set this up as like this is the reason like other stuff happened in the franchise. Like the Covenant are going to find Reach because Master Chief had sex with somebody. It's like all that story stuff is dumb. It's just I wish they had like a stronger like vision because I would say like this is okay, but when you compare it to like Star Wars and The Mandalorian, and I know that Halo is not Star Wars, but it's like they took a mute character or a character that has no face and made him like one of the most popular characters in Star Wars just from their writing and acting. And it's like it is
yeah.
possible,
Hmm.
but they couldn't do it or they weren't confident in doing that. So they just said, okay, remove everything and let's just have him be like a normal,
Yeah, but
soldier man having sex with people and doing stuff.
yeah. I mean, but they spent 20 million on Baby Yoda alone. I
I
know they
mean,
was throwing budgets at that character design. They got years behind them in that. When
sure,
has
but it could have just been like
Xbox
a
ever?
normal baby. It didn't even have to be a CGI baby. Like,
Nah, they could have tried it, but I feel like the reason why they went with that is because they needed it to do scenes and certain things. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that within the realm of Halo, there is so much riding on the CGI, the character building, and the world development that I just feel like in The Mandalorian, it's easier to.
it's easier for two reasons. Like, yeah, Star Wars is already established, so they don't
Yeah,
have to establish this brand new
you have
world.
to
That I
establish
get.
Halo.
But that's also the problem with the direction of the show. If you don't have the budget or the time to establish an entire universe in these 8 episodes, don't do that. Like the good thing about Halo is that there are different stories or there are different games. Like if they just wanted to pick like Halo ODST, it's like it's 6 people stuck in a city fighting aliens. Like you don't have to worry about the Covenant and the Halo rings and like the flood and 2,000 years of blah 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 and all this extra stuff if you just focus on telling a good story in Halo that people will be interested in. But instead they took they want their cake and eat it too. We're going to do all of Halo and make people get interested in this franchise, and they can't do it all.
Yeah,
So I understand that it's not like probably nobody could have taken Halo and like put it in like 8 episodes and make it be perfect,
no,
but
no.
I can criticize them for like you should have went with a different direction. Then do what you can do. Like y'all are showrunners or like y'all done other projects, so y'all should know like okay, Microsoft, this is a little too much. We could do this instead, but that's not what happened.
I mean, at some points it was believable that they were Spartans, and at other points there just wasn't. It just, and then there were some points where I felt like understanding the technology and stuff like that. It was easy to understand because it was very basic in that way. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it from a viewpoint of what do I look for in other sci-fi shows, and what do I see in this sci-fi show. If I didn't have the context behind it of that, it's well, if I didn't have the the understanding that this is a Halo show, and I would think the effects were nice. I would think the the fight scenes were good. I would think that the characters that are the big bads and stuff like that, they played their roles properly. Like I wouldn't have too much to hate on it if it wasn't attached to Halo. So that is why I'm giving it the premise of it's okay, because I wouldn't hate on it unless I had to. But I guess the whole that's the whole
Uh,
point. You can't
yeah, I
separate it.
understand that, and like I said, I'm probably like a bias because I would hate on it, and that's why I wouldn't watch sci-fi shows because if they end up being like this, it don't matter what name attached to it. I'm not gonna finish it.
True. So it's like, yeah, like there is nothing really terrible about the show, to me at least. It's just that there was so many lackluster things. Like there was, it was like everything was just C level. There was nothing that was A level for me. Like even if one thing was A level, I could defend it better. But nothing was A level. Like the effects weren't A level, the acting wasn't A level, the world building wasn't A level, the storyline wasn't A level. It just nothing was A level to me to make it like just above average. It was everything was mediocre. Um, but overall, I have seen worse and I have seen better. And for me to kind of say I wouldn't be interested in a season two would be a lie. I want to see where some of the storylines go. Um, I don't have a big critique for their character development. I just have a big critique on in making sure they engage it in a proper way. I just don't like how some things panned out. I really don't understand her one moment hating, humans and then sacrificing it all, and then one moment kind of brings her back into that. That's like terrible storytelling. It just makes me feel like you don't know where you want the character to go, and I hate sloppy storytelling in that way. So it just made me it made it worse because if the story didn't, I don't have to like the story to understand that it's like this is the realm of justifications within it. I just don't think making a character go from bad, good to bad in less than 20 minutes is a good storytelling. It's not a good storytelling for me. It screams lazy. So yeah, I don't know. But overall, hey, Matt, you want to see some Master Cheeks? Go check it out, people.
Master Cheeks.
Master Cheeks, man. Any thoughts, Jalen?
Nah, I mean, y'all just tearing that thing apart, so I ain't really got much to say about it. But y'all already know my stance with Halo and stuff like that. They just need to,
Yeah, let it die.
man.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to let it die and stuff completely. I think they just need to stop trying to make it into like a Star Wars or something like that, man. Like it's just
Yeah. I will say, even though I enjoy the new game, I feel like 343 or whatever, they don't have how put it? They have plans, but it doesn't have an identity really anymore. And that's part of the problem where they're trying to reinvent it constantly. Like it's gonna be a TV show, it's gonna be a maybe a battle royale or something in the future.
They're just
like
throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe it wouldn't ever be as popular as it used to be, but if it just stuck in its own place, like Gears of War, where it's like, Gears of War 6 is going to be soon. It's like people are coming back because they enjoy it for it being itself.
What it is.
And, yeah.
I think Halo is so stuck on this big momentum push popularity that it doesn't really understand that feeding your core audience, that's what Destiny forgot, and then they fixed it. Destiny was not feeding their core audience and lost a lot of people in Destiny 2's transition, and they fixed it. They started catering to the core audience of what they enjoyed about Destiny, grind, which I don't know why people enjoyed it, but that's what they loved. And they loved uniqueness. They love random roles. They didn't want everything to be the same, and they fed it. They fed it like the creature it is. Now it's you cannot just you can no longer just suggest Destiny to a person. You cannot. It's not. If you're not a Destiny player, you'll never be a Destiny player. You can try, but it's guaranteed. It's probably one of the hardest things you could probably ever do. Try to convince someone to start Destiny as a new game. Because simply put, it is now in the realms of Final Fantasy and all those other games that really suck to start playing right now because it has fed that community. The community is really understanding of what it is and how set it is in its ways that it no longer can even be. It can no longer be changed in a way that dramatically shifts the narrative of the game. It won't. It will never change. I think Halo is trying to build that when they already had it, they just never had a live service functionality to it. Um, and I just think that they want what Destiny has, and I wouldn't even want what Destiny has because trust me, the community is mad toxic, and it's not a good community. Um, there is great people in it, but it's just not the type of game you want to replicate. The money is nice. I'd rather you replicate Apex or something like that, but not Destiny. It's just not it's not worth it. So
I don't
yeah.
know. I felt like the media. I felt like the media that Halo was introduced in, with it being a rated M game and it being an Xbox exclusive, that limited to how much people can like get a hold of it versus something like Star Wars. Like everybody's able to go see Star Wars or whatever. And on top of that, Star Wars had its own feel to it. I mean, you got cool lightsabers, you got the Force, you know, you got the fact, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's different things to it versus Halo. It's like it ain't it's nothing that was groundbreaking about Halo. Halo is just good for its time, and that's why I always go back to saying the same thing, that Halo is just, how can Halo improve while keeping its identity Halo? And I'm not a developer and stuff like that, and I might be, you know, small minded and things like that. But from everything that Bungie and 343 been putting out or whatever, it hasn't shown me anything that's like it's still trying to be Halo, but they trying to change certain things, and it just don't really have the same entire feel to it. So I think all these different avenues of different medias and stuff that they trying to put out and stuff, they just, like you guys said, they just need to like stay in their own lane and stop trying to do all this extra stuff. And honestly, I would really prefer if Halo had a lot of different, it had a lot of story to it, which is cool. I would be more satisfied if instead of them trying to keep improving, or not improving, but doing different things, like adding to the universe and all this type of stuff, if they added to the universe within the original timeline, and stop trying to keep progressing the world. This is Master Chief, or where there are more Spartans and stuff like that. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually like Reach. That's like the prequel to Halo 1. Those sorts of things was cool. Like I like the ODST. Like it put a lot of context into the story versus just adding more stuff and not focusing on Master Chief, then focusing on him, and it just, you can just start seeing the mess that is becoming. I'm just kind of like, I don't care to follow it. If y'all was where y'all was at y'all peak at with Halo 3, if y'all want to go do different things and add different pieces into the story, similar like how Star Wars did, I'd be more appreciative of that, because they ain't got to retcon anything. But what they're doing now is just kind of like, y'all added more things that I need to try to put together. Y'all making it burdensome on me, similar to what Kingdom Hearts was doing. Like that's where I have my issue with them. But it could just be the type of person I am too. But I just think it would make more sense if they kept it. You know, the Spartans don't die; they just missing in action and just different things like that. Like it ain't that many Spartans, Master Chief, this type of dude, all that type of stuff. I feel a lot more comfortable with the story as the way it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, I'm more invested in like I'm more invested in the Apex Legends story. Like I feel like Overwatch started something, and then Apex built on it much better than what they did. In my opinion, I know people feel like Overwatch is such great. Sometimes they have better story. I feel like Apex did a better job of fleshing out a world than any other company that has a live service game, in my opinion, because of just simply adding small details and intricate things continuously throughout the game that causes you to now know so much more about people or these characters that they have created. Like they created something, put it out there, wanted you to love it, and then built upon that. They didn't like reinvent the wheel. They didn't try to make you, go. I don't know. It just felt like a easier digestible thing, um, that honestly wouldn't take too long to get caught up on versus having to deal with like a full fledged game and trying to understand it, um, and truly putting all the pieces together, because that's what they try to do with Halo Infinite, and calling it Infinite and not really having the foundation there to make it truly that good game. Like in a multiplayer standpoint, I can't really talk to the single player. I did not beat it. So
I mean, we ain't never talked about it because I didn't know if you ever was gonna play it. But it's the same issue where it's like y'all trying to introduce new ideas, but it's not a clear vision. And by the end of the game, it's like, okay, like where's your finished idea? Like you started writing this paper, but you didn't finish. You got halfway through and you stopped.
yeah,
How am I supposed to be interested to come back if you didn't hook me when you had the time?
And that's the thing. If they was to just go back into the different time, into the original timeline,
Yeah,
they already have a finished story. Like they could just
yeah,
introduce
they
more
could
stuff
just
and
do more prequels or stuff like that. But even still, their problem is that kind of like the more recent Star Wars movies, where all right, this first game, Halo 4, is about Master Chief losing Cortana. Cool. Uh, what's the next game? What is it about? Well, y'all didn't like the last story, so we're gonna change it. It's about Master Chief being arrested and Cortana's back. Like, okay, fine. People didn't like that story, so what's Infinite about? Oh, well, this story is about getting rid of all that old stuff and introducing the new flood. So like, where is the trilogy if y'all just did a trilogy? These are completely separate games with completely separate stories going nowhere.
yeah,
that's why I'm saying if they did something when the game was at its peak, left off on a good note on Halo 3, then that would, I'm not gonna say it's gonna correct everything because they can still mess stuff up. Clearly they showing that they incompetent, but I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
mean
they'd have been left more pieces.
they should have just left Master Chief in Halo 3, honestly. Just brand new Spartans like Halo Reach. That way
yeah,
you can do whatever you want. You want to change it, you want to make a battle royale, blah blah blah. Oh, Master Chief wouldn't do this. It don't matter. He not in the game. So
yeah. I think
That's
them
pretty
wanting to
true.
keep that iconic character kind of was their failure. Um,
yeah, because Halo Reach showed that they don't need Master Chief. Like people love that game, and he's not in the game at all.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have told a great story without Master Chief being in the game, and that even in that movie, and that, I mean, I'm talking not in the game, but the TV show, because I wasn't really interested in Master Chief, to be honest with you. I was more interested in people around him and the world in the world, but and maybe that's just because I didn't like the character in itself. He just didn't seem to. I don't know how you try to build. What was really funny is how they try to put emotion into a character, and then he just becomes very one dimensional. That's
Yeah,
funny to me.
he's weird because he has no like life or culture or anything like that. Like Mandalorian people like him because he at least was like
This
had
is the
a
way.
culture and a
This is
code.
my
Yeah,
way.
it was
You know what
something
I'm
unique
saying?
about him. Master Chief is literally a military dude who been in there since he was 5, and he has no life. He has no social life, no friends, no nothing. So ain't nothing you can do with it, other than like him becoming like crazy, like Doom, and just I love killing. But they don't want to do that.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even know he can fornicate, bro. I thought he might have had blue balls or something. I don't know. I mean, he was all he do. He's a Spartan. You know what I'm saying? Like you see, he was kidnapped when he was a kid, turned into this war machine, and I
Yeah, it don't
mean,
make sense for him either. Like if it was the Halo Reach characters, it would make sense because they were like real adults who, had lives. He didn't have a life, so it's just weird.
Yeah, really heavily influenced by flashbacks and him just experiencing the world, which is fine. That's a cool angle. Just make the world more interesting. If you're gonna be exploring the world, and he's gonna be now the eyes of the new, where you see everything for new, like from a new perspective. Take us to the world. Don't just have us sitting on one planet and not really showing us nothing and trying to deal with the conflict that we have no understanding of how bad it is until like the last episode, right, where they finally show the Covenant destroying a whole planet. Um, but that was like the last episode. And it was just like, y'all ain't really do this right. So, I mean, it's fine to me, simply, like I said, simply because I'm not judging it off of it being a Halo show. I'm judging it being off a sci-fi show. And there's plenty of sci-fi shows out there that are just as mediocre that might get more praise simply because it doesn't have a Halo name attached. I enjoyed the guns. I enjoyed the sicky pulse grenade. I enjoyed the effects. I enjoyed some of the characters. And I enjoyed it enough to watch next season. So I'm going to just leave it at that because I don't want to keep... And plus, we've been talking about it too long. But Halo, go and check it out if y'all want to watch something sci-fi. Just turn your brain off. Turn off all your knowledge of the Halo community, of the Halo world, and you might have a good time. But yeah, that's all it is. I don't hate the show though. All right, well, let's talk about something hopefully not this long. But I wanted to talk about the Kevin Samuels situation. Go straight into that, and then we can talk about Kendrick. I mean, because it's some similarities in my opinion, but I want to talk about Kendrick album, but I just want to talk about Kevin and this need to go on the internet and just and place your distaste for a person that has passed. I think it's very weirdo. It's very weirdo energy. It's someone has passed, someone has died, and you're literally mocking the dead. Like, let that sink in. You're mocking the dead. You are now a Chicago rapper. You are now you're one of the undesirables of the world. You're not a actual human. You have turned into something else. You're morphed into something else, and you think you're justified in your actions because you did not like what a person said. You're justified in your actions because of what someone said, not what they did, not what they tried to inflict on you, but what they said, knowing full well, with the right understanding and knowledge, you probably could, oh, this guy is saying some crazy stuff. Let me click off of that. Oh, this guy is being really mean to people. Let me click off of that. Let me not entertain someone that's negative. So, I don't know. I just find it weird. I didn't think he did heinous crimes, which obviously he didn't. He don't have a rap sheet. There's people that we mourn that killed people. But yet someone that you just didn't have the similar opinion on and was a little bit blunt and mean to people, that is okay to now you justified in your hate and your belittling, your laughter, your jokes. I don't know. It didn't sit right with me when it was happening. It's kind of like the Will Smith slap. It's kind of like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not defending Kevin Samuels. I don't agree with most of the stuff he said. I don't watch them. I don't listen to them, and all the stuff that did actually end up bubbling up to the top of my algorithm, I thought was incorrect. Thought it was misinformed. Thought it was misinformation. But I was smart enough to understand that I didn't have to sit there and watch it nor entertain it, and I don't have to be mad at a person. So to see the level of disrespect on the timeline was very interesting. Did you guys see any of that stuff, or did you not really? Not at all.
All right, what you go, Josh?
Yeah, I saw like initially like people weren't sure what happened because it was sudden, and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually like it was confirmed, and immediately it was two things you'll see like, oh, like karma, blah blah blah, and oh, look at him, should took your own advice, blah blah blah, and other on the opposite side, like people like, oh, he was just speaking his own opinion. You ain't gotta like do this. He's gone now. You can just leave it be. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it was very weird to see people so I
Celebratory.
would say polarized. Well, yeah, polarized, where it's like one side super happy, on the other side is like super defending it. Because like you said, like many other people die, many other celebrities who have like sometimes even more controversial lives, and it's like just I don't know how to put it. I think it's okay to criticize someone's work or the things that they did in their life, but also like you said, there's no need to put out that negativity where it's like, oh, good that he's gone, or that he deserved it, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever people want to say, because you can think that his work is just like really terrible, really awful, bad advice. But at the end of the day, it's just like it's somebody else's family and another person, another black person, and you should just give them a little bit of base level of respect of you know they're gone. But some people can't do that, and I think that maybe it's like confusion, not confusion, but a don't know how to separate your feelings about someone or like unpack it in like a healthy way, because it's like you don't like his work, or you don't like the things that he talks about, or you don't like his music or whatever, and not being able to like criticize it while also separating it from like the individual. So for example, Joe Rogan, like people hate Joe Rogan. I don't agree with Joe Rogan or anything like that, but also I'm not gonna do or wish anything on him personally. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Nah, I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie to you, bro. I always like hearing people opinion or when it's within means. I like seeing different people's standpoints, understanding why people come from different, perspectives. So like when Kevin Samuels, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna say I like the dude, but I enjoyed hearing some of the things he had to say. Of
Mm.
course, it's more crazier stuff is gonna be the ones that pop up on people's timeline, and not the little, the rest of his show, like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people had a misinformed idea of this guy because most of his crazy stuff will pop up and not the stuff he'd say. And he, from my understanding, I think he talked to dudes too. It just wasn't women, but it was a lot of women that was happy that he was dead. And I'm just like, why are y'all happy that there's a human being that didn't affect your life doing whatever it takes for him to be relevant, make money, make a living, and stuff like that? Um,
Which you
Man, it
why
can't
was
make money if people not interested in what you're doing. Period. So
and
it's
people
not
and
was
that.
that's what I'm
wishing
saying.
bad things to happen to Reverend X.
Like, yeah, you're right.
You you
Gen
have to
Ra.
do something different in order to get something different. Is what I'm getting at.
Mm.
And y'all stupid. And he was doing something different. And my thing is, some of these women wanted to be on the show. They
Yeah.
wanted to talk to this dude and all these sorts of things, and they got mad for some of the crude opinion, or not the crude opinion, because a lot of people might have the same opinion. His crude delivery
Hmm.
and trying to drive home a point, because a lot of these women think they're, I guess the analogy, I was just talking to my boy Ron about this. Everybody can't be Michael Jordan, like, but a lot of these women have that fantasy that they are, and that's fine, like, to some capacity, but it can't impede on how you. I ain't even finna get into that. I mean,
Don't
we see
please. Yeah,
social
yeah.
media. I was about to say, we see social media. We see people doing whatever it takes, whether it's OnlyFans, whether you Kevin Samuels being crude, or if you smacking people on, Oscars
That's
and
good.
stuff like that.
No,
But
that's
my
good
thing
night.
is, regardless, these people, what they're doing and how they choose to live their life isn't affecting yours.
Agreed.
Unless Kevin Samuel said something to you and strangled you and tried to wish death upon you or something, he ain't. I mean, he can't be 50 Cent saying that, but not just fine. But why should you praise another person's death and they ain't never did nothing to you? I feel like some of the people that was saying that, some of the things this dude then said, y'all felt as though the shoe fit, and y'all took offense to what he said.
Yep.
And all his stuff wasn't incorrect. Like, some of the stuff he was saying, he was just saying it in a crude manner that some people probably just didn't want to hear about it in. I mean, I ain't gonna say he ain't tear some women down and stuff. I think some of the stuff he said was a little over the top or whatever, but it was some stuff that some people asked. I'm not gonna say they needed to hear, but they asked to hear it.
Yeah.
So that's just my thing. Like I said, I like hearing different people's opinions. Some of the things I resonated with what he said. Um, just how I view the world and what I see on social media, because y'all know I stay on Instagram, but at the same time, some stuff he said didn't need to be said. But at the same time, it's his show. He can say whatever he wants. He got freedom of speech. And people got on there and asked to hear it. So that's my thing.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I it's just very weirdo behavior. We're very weird to kind of have to think about it in that way and see people really having a joyous occasion. Um, he's not like he wasn't no leader of the free world. He wasn't someone that was really creating and building things to kind of hinder you. It was just a guy and an opinion with a mic that people tuned into. Because you can't really be popular unless someone tunes into you. It's just not. It's not possible. It's not possible for you to get millions of views on your videos and all of it's hate. Some people are in there just trying to understand and trying to get more information on what they think you are credible on. So
Yeah, and he's a weird situation because a lot of people like hate him, like he's the worst thing for the black community, or he's like giving the best relationship advice that nobody wants to listen to. But like people like that, or like shows like that, have existed for a long time. Like you go
mhm,
on Jerry Springer, or you go on Montel, or what's the Judge show? Anyways, but it's
Judge
like,
Mathis.
or Judge Mathis or Joe Brown and all that stuff. And honestly, I feel like you would hear worse advice or like worse conversations on like regular podcasts with like
Mhm.
what's that dude? Adam
Adam 22.
yeah, or just like normal podcasts like talking about anything, right? They
Uh,
had girls on there and like, oh yeah, you know, I took the whole basketball team back to my hotel, blah blah blah, and they just talking about dumb dumb stuff.
Duh. Yeah.
And so I don't know why they got that much strong energy against him. Maybe because it was like presented in like a pseudo professional way, and
Yeah.
so it had more weight to it. But yeah,
I think people was mad at him because he was arrogant and confident with what he said. I think that's the true reason. Everything he said behind, I'm not. I didn't watch the show entirely, but the way he presented his facts, the things he said, the absolute confidence, or if you want to even go as far as call it arrogance, with the things he said with his delivery, it was a force that they couldn't top on. I think that was the reason they were getting mad. Like they couldn't, like he just felt like he was unstoppable, and I think that's what drove people up the wall.
I don't think he
I
ever. I
honestly
don't
think
think
that.
he apologized either. So
Nah, I mean that too, but he just like, nah, this my show. I'm gonna say what I want. Y'all gonna
yeah,
listen or y'all gonna leave. I don't care what y'all talking about. What I say is right and what y'all say is wrong. Like I don't care about the rest. And that they felt like they was talking to a brick wall, and the brick wall was like collapsing on them with the words that he was saying. I think that's what people really got annoyed about.
yeah. No, I think it's just very much so tragic, a sad situation. Um, I mean, anytime someone lost, life is lost, it's kind of just you know difficult, especially when you got family. I think he had a daughter, um, and he died with a nurse, not family. It's just like, bro, to be excited and happy just screams you need to work on yourself. You need to go get some therapy. It just screams it. Like you need help. Like truly, if you're that distraught and broken down by another person's opinion, not directly at you, but you're just catching the I fit the category, so I feel a way. Dude, you need help. You really do. Um, cause it's not that deep. Only time it's deep is if your situation is so trash that you can't even admit to yourself that it might be you, and that's when people feel it the most. It's like I don't want to believe it's me, so everything else is the problem. And now that you speaking to me directly and saying that this is the problem, you're the problem, it sucks. And now I got this hatred for you because you exposed me as the fraud I am, or something like that. Whatever the case may be. Um, it just seems, it's like I said, weirdo behavior. But rest in peace, Kevin. And it's just a sad situation. But what I wanted to switch to real quickly was that Kendrick Lamar and a lot of the stuff that he was saying in '95, We Cry Together, Purple Heart, Die Hard, United Grief. He was just talking Savior, Auntie Diaries, Mr. Morale, Mother I Sober. All these songs insinuates the same like premises sometimes that Kevin would talk about, or that he would identify. I mean, there's possibly literally uh, something that he insinuates in his raps or his music that is sometimes very blunt and sometimes very melodic, and it can be digested easily. But I guess my thought is that if someone, obviously this got millions and millions of plays, it's probably going to sell very, very well, and it's talking about the same stuff that Kevin would talk about sometimes, but in obviously he was very blunt in his delivery. But in this stuff is very blunt. Do you think Kendrick is at the point where he will get canceled for anything he said? Or do people wish death on him when he dies because of this track list and these songs and the stuff he was saying within said songs?
I don't think so. Just based off the fact that it's gonna come across as art. He has a safeguard because it's art. So it's a form of expression versus Kevin Samuel. Like, hey, it's cruel, straight to the point. I don't care what you talking about, bro. Um, he's not on there outright bashing people actively. Like people
Mm-hmm.
can't watch him bash people. And then on top of that, people need to interpret what he's saying and minus the beat and all that type of stuff. They just need to tear everything down and just interpret what he's saying. And then from that point, they need to actively know that this is what Kendrick is saying definitively, to say that this is what Kendrick's saying. He's tearing us down. He's in the same thing as Kevin Samuel. A lot of people are not gonna take it that way. So I don't think he's gonna get canceled just, off that.
Mm.
His
Yeah,
delivery is way different.
yeah. I think I think trying to say the same thing over and over again, um, because a lot of these topics and a lot of these thoughts and all this stuff, this was said and done in Pimp a Butterfly and in Good Kid, Mad City. There's some things that are newer, like Auntie Diaries, Mother I Sober, Father Time. Even though he talked about his dad and how, in certain situations in life and basically storytelling previously on Damn uh with the ending song, I forget the name of Duckworth, um stuff like that, like, the premises of his albums are very similar, but I guess in this one he was a little bit more blunt to me, so I felt like it was more of Kevin Samuels esque delivery. Because Worldwide Steppers is ridiculous. Father Time is ridiculous. Auntie Diaries, you talking about the community and how they approach gay people and how they think about it and how a lesbian can be included in festivities. But then if your cousin, a male cousin, turns to be a woman, it's just not possible. Something like that. It's like those distinct things that you see in a community daily and you could talk about, and it kind of have these deeper meanings and these understandings. Even when we on United Grief and how he's talking about how we grieve and how we see things in the world. I mean, these are universal problems, but they're just so, I don't know. In this album, I just felt like he was so direct that you can't miss the message. And if you're missing the message, it's just you're blind. You're literally a blind person. There's no way you can miss the messages in all these songs. There's no way. No way. But, I mean, some people can really try and do it, make it work. But I just think that's why I kept starting to think about Kevin. It's just the fact that I think Kendrick is tired of hiding behind the art. Like, we cry together. Like, come on. Like, yeah, it's poetry slam, but it's the most raw poetry slam I've ever heard.
I ain't even
And
gonna lie, bro. I ain't even listening to that whole song. I got tired of listening.
yeah, it's because you get to the point where you like, okay, now you preaching, but and it's
Nah, it's
not
just
like a,
annoying.
yeah, it's
There's
not
too
like a
much
good
cussing.
song. It's not a good song in that manner. That's what I'm saying. It's not meant to be composed to make you want to play it over and over again. It's supposed to be shock value and it's supposed to have a meaning behind it. That's it. Like, that's a throwaway song. That's track number 8. Nobody's going back like, oh, this is so good. I gotta play it again and again. But it's supposed to make you feel something. And it's supposed to make you actually think about the perspective of what your mindset is and how these kind of relationships, these toxic relationships, are idolized and how they just stay the same over and over. It's the same cycle. So, um, no, I'm not saying that that's the greatest song composed. I'm saying that that song is meant to play a role in the entirety of things, because then you roll into Purple Hearts and you're talking about the mending and like, you know what I mean, bro. It's a artsy album, and it's very much so meant to be played in that manner. It's not meant to be it's not meant to be pieced away. I just don't think it is. I think it's meant to be played through and through. Um, and
Yeah, I think that the I mean, I didn't watch much Kevin Samuels, so I don't know everything, but most of the stuff was just more like controversial opinions about how you should live your life, who you should be in a relationship with, stuff like that.
mhm.
And with Kendrick, it's those topics as well. But one, I don't get the impression that he's actually trying to pass judgment on somebody. And but also, even if he is, it's up for interpretation because it is music and it's not just Kendrick coming out and saying like, oh, if you in a abusive relationship and you go back to that person, you an idiot. Like he's not
I
saying
think
those
it's
things explicitly.
yeah, I think it's that way because he is using himself as the he is using himself as the subject matter, like
Mhm,
Mirror, Mother I Sober, like these are stories he's embedding himself into, so it's personal. So it doesn't
mhm.
feel like he's attacking anyone, which I agree with. But it's like it's like a level of personal that you feel like, okay, I have to reflect on myself because he's deep into this. So it does feel a little judgy. I don't know. To me, it does, but at the same time, it does. But to
Well,
me,
so
it does,
I
especially on N ninety
I
five.
understand that, but also like the whole album is controversial, and like you said, you don't think people would try to like cancel him for it, but I think that there is like well, obviously some people will cancel any people for anything, but I think that there is a good amount of people that would try to cancel him for this and for a lot of things. And I think that he knew that going into the album and still made like conscious decisions to do the way he did it. Because like the last few songs are all about personal trauma and like abuse and like people in your family or in your life who have like hurt you or your other family members in some way. And then it's also about like him saying eventually like, I forgive you and I'm going to move past this and stuff like that, but also to include somebody like Kodak Black in the album, who I personally don't have any problem with his music, but people like really don't like him for his like life because like he's done crime, he's robbed people, he has like a bunch of cases for like sexual abuse and stuff like that, and so it's like, well, Kendrick, isn't it hypocritical to be talking about like sexual abuse or anything like that? And you have somebody who has like that history or could have that history. But also he
Mm-hmm.
might have known that going into it and still decided to include him because the whole point is about like forgiving people or like accepting people and their flaws. And so I think that regardless of what Kendrick does, people will always like, um, not like it, even if it's well intentioned. But also because it is art, because it is music, there is a level of protection behind it because this is art.
Mm. And yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with that. Um, and that's why I got to keep listening to it. And if I haven't said it already, I love this freaking album, and I think it's really great. I think there's a lot of things that you just need to re-listen to. I'm going to be listening to this for a while. I'm not saying that it's going to be the album of continuous listen, but it's going to be like another Pimp a Butterfly to me. That's what it is. People didn't
Yeah.
like Pimp a Butterfly for me. I really enjoyed it. I played it thoroughly through all the time, and when I want to be in that retrospective and going back and thinking about my life in general and like some of the flaws and of the world and some of the flaws of myself, I listen to songs and I listen to albums that really kind of make me think about stuff. um and this is another one of those great ones that just kind of made me think about a lot of stuff, made me think about you know and really have a good conversation. Like I can literally have a conversation about each song. That's how good and like that's how much thought it went into them.
Hmm.
So that's what I mean. That's what I'm happy about. It's just good music, but at the same
Yeah.
time, this is meant for you to. It's like a jump off point for people to heal, people to understand, and people to try to really articulate emotions of why we the way we are. And this is him using himself as a, like you said, him using himself and admit I feel like an attack makes you just reflect in a different way. Kevin Samuels is attacking you and saying the same that thing, but maybe this is more of a, well, this is how I am. What about you? And it's kind of like that
Hmm.
type of situation. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. The I think I told you the other day, but the first time I listened to it, like I don't know, I think a lot of people are not happy with the album. I liked it a lot. The first time I didn't like fully understand like
Mm-hmm.
the whole connection and everything. Not even like the story, but like all the songs are like very different sound wise and topic wise and stuff like that. And so putting it all together, I didn't know how I felt about the whole album. But going back through, like I feel like it's some of his better work. It's not Good Kid, Mad City. It's more like poetry and spoken word and like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of meaning behind it, which he's always been known for. But the music also fits with that, where it's like jazz and piano and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like it a lot. I feel like artistically it's stronger than like Damn. I like Damn, but I feel like it was also his for me one of the weaker albums. Just
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, some of the songs just didn't do anything for me, and I felt like the overall message was weakened because of those missing songs. Maybe because that it was short. This
Mm-hmm.
album is a bit longer, so even the songs that I don't like, it's like one out of like 16.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, even to Pimp a Butterfly when it came out, I wasn't really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Only because like, I was younger, I didn't know anything about jazz but going back to it and listening to it over time is probably one of the ones that aged the best just because it is art and it's like talking a lot about like real black um
Issues.
experiences and issues and stuff, and it becomes like a part of our history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this album might eventually be fit in that as well, where it's like it's another, you know, good positive reflection on black culture. Well, pop, deconstructing the negative overall, but it's a positive for the black culture, um, more so than like something like Damn was for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's just. It's the most well produced spoken word I've ever heard. Um. Like the beats are immaculate. Um. The It's just great. So. Um. Yeah. That's my thoughts on it. Honestly.
Do you have
Um.
a, or if you want to say something, Jalen, I was gonna say, do you have a top song, top two, whatever,
Man, I was
five,
finna
whatever
say
you
that,
do?
man. How you read one line? Mm, no, just
Man, I
playing.
had to read your mind because you're so mute over there. Say no.
Nah, I was just letting y'all talking. I was just listening because I ain't listened to the album in the same way y'all did. I was just
Mhm.
on the halfway listening to it, and it was cool. I was listening to it on my way to Detroit, and then I seen that car on fire. I don't know if y'all seen it on my Instagram, but that was
Yeah, I
cooking.
seen that car. I was like, "What the heck he doing? He
Bro,
under in purge mode."
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, bro. But anywho, yeah, I didn't listen to it in that same way. I felt like I don't like cussing, but damn, uh, that that album, it felt like I didn't feel like it was as much like spoken word, like poetry esque. I felt like it was more hype music kind of on there.
Yep.
Um, so these are some songs that I can go to the bar and I still hear music from the album, but I didn't like Josh said, I didn't really think that was like a strong album. Going into this one, I was kind of listening to it in the same aspect, but it was some words and just it was just a lot of deeper things in it. Like I thought one piece of this was simple. Like I was like at the beginning of United and We Grief or whatever, United and Grief or whatever. Yeah. He said something about like he wasn't okay for 1,855 days, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, that's a lot of days, but I'm like, I think that's about like the same time his last album had came out too, if you don't count Black Panther. So like, it's just a lot of different things he was saying. Or like, if we cry together, he was kind of the little bit I did listen. I mean, I listened to most of the song and stuff. I just got tired of the cussing because I don't cuss, and I don't really like hearing too much cussing and stuff like that. I try to listen to clean music as long as don't compromise the song too much. But he was saying I just feel like he was representing a lot of like black people or not even black people, just relationships, and just they were representing like different groups of people and different issues that people have in relationships and stuff. Like taking different standpoints with the random stuff that they were saying and why they were arguing. And I was just like, this kind of different, but y'all still cussing too much, and I don't really care about hearing this. So, but I just thought it was interesting, and maybe I'll go back and listen to the song all the way through. But, I mean, like you guys, I liked the album too. It took me a minute to catch the Auntie Diary song because I didn't know what he was exactly saying, because I kept going in between my like back and forth in my head that his dad is absent and his auntie's like the father figure in his life, or is he saying like, and I thought he was trying to exaggerate the fact that his auntie is the father figure in his life, so he was saying like LBGT stuff, but I didn't know if he was actually trying to just emphasize that point, or if he was actually just being straight to the point, but like, yeah, my auntie is LBGT, like, and this is before all the LBGT stuff became the way it is now. So, I was back and forth in my head about, and I had talked to my friend about it too a little bit. So, he said it's kind of both, but more so like his auntie is LBGT before all that type of stuff was, people knew about it and it was in media and stuff a lot more. But, enough about that. My favorite song on there, man, it was, I say I really liked N95. I liked how he was saying like, we had made a couple jokes like sometimes people take their mask off, they ugly, and he was saying when you take off all that stuff about people, what I'm saying, similar like a mask, you're ugly. So I just thought that was funny. I'm like, man, I remember me and Josh and Deontay said people take their mask off. He'd be like, dang, bro, who made you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might want to put that mug back on. But that, and then bro, I was banging Die Hard, man. I'm looking like, man, I'm like, they going crazy in this song, man. I'm like, man, I gotta hear this again, bro. I'd have missed the first verse. I gotta start all over, bro. I'm like, they going crazy in that song, dog.
Yeah, I played that one back a couple times.
Yeah, Amanda and Blast, they were really good with the vocals on that.
Going dumb. I'm like, man.
And all of his like singing features, at least, I thought were like really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists I didn't know, but they still came out really strong and fit the music as well.
Yeah.
Father Time was good too.
Yeah, Father Time was good.
Yeah, Father Time is talking about y'all boy real quick, but it reminded me of like how to put it, a J. Cole story, but told better. I mean, I like J. Cole, but he always, talk about his mom or dad or different people and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't always hit for me. It's like, okay, I don't really want to hear the whole story, but Kendrick, it was more like, this is the stuff that my dad did, but also it like helped me still in some positive ways, but I wish it was better or different, and not just saying I had a bad life with my dad or something,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. I was like, my dad, the only reason he probably didn't just go back to work after my grandma passed because he's not working. Like, but all his brothers did. They'd be working right before the funeral. It's just, I don't know. It's weird, You don't think about it like that, but when you think about it, you're like, yeah, ain't no real stop. So it was just a lot of perspective stuff. I was just like, dang, I don't really think about it like that, but it's facts. Um, you don't really grieve like that. You don't really think about it. You just move forward because you kind of conditioned to do so, and yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, every time I was listening to something, I had to play it again because I was like, bro, I missed a bunch. I missed a bunch.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, going back and playing it again and again, and sitting with the
I pretty
music.
much listen to everything back to back. United in Grief in '95, or Ross Steppers, Father Time, Die Hard, Rich Spirit. I like We Cry Together, but I also like just Eminem. That's basically it. Crown, Count Me Out. The only song that I guess I don't listen to that much is Purple Heart. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. And maybe Auntie Diaries. I like the song, especially because it's kind of like, what's the song on Damn? Like the first one. No, it's on uh crap. What's the song about him giving a homeless man $1? Whatever that song is. The ending is kind of similar to that,
Homeless
but
man $1. Is that the how much a
how
dollar
much $1
costs?
costs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like it's a long story with a point
Mm-hmm.
at the end, and you're listening to the story to get to the point at the end.
Yeah.
I like the song, and I'll listen to it every now and then just to like get that message. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not my favorite like to listen to all the time. But otherwise, yeah, everything I like, and especially
You ain't
the
like
Heart
that
Part
Ron. You
Five.
ain't like that
Even
Ron Isley. That
what?
because Ron Isley on that song. Yeah, I love
Oh
his
no, I mean
vocals on that song.
I like the song,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll listen to it. But like I said, I'll listen to it just because like
That
the
message
message
behind at the
is
end,
like
the
it's
payoff.
the whole core of the song. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I want to hear this verse or
Mm-hmm.
this part. Like maybe I want to hear the hook or stuff like that. But it's about the message. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of these songs are like that for me as well. The only one that was like bars, I was like, God, dog. He was Savior interlude. Baby King was barred it up. I didn't think that was
Yeah.
Baby King, and I was like, God, dog, boy, you going crazy.
Yeah,
So
he did good. I don't even like Baby King,
I don't
but
like
Yeah, that
Baby
boy
King
cheeks.
either, bro.
but
I
I
they.
will say like
Mm-hmm.
they help each other, like they write for each
Yes.
other, which I
Yeah.
did find out. So I could definitely see like it's more focused when he's with Kendrick, and Kendrick is like helping him stay on topic, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But Range Brothers, blah blah blah, garbage, trash.
Yeah, they must have gave him the trash boys. They said, man, keep that 5 for my album. But yeah, um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't say
Oh,
that
like,
enough.
and a Hard Part 5. I was gonna say that it's real
Oh
good.
yeah, definitely. Um, and that wasn't even on the album, so it's just a lot of good music out. Um, and I'm glad we kind of had that moment to kind of chill and just think about it.
Holy game, holy game.
Yeah. Top of the morning,
With
top of
my
the
Range
morning, top of
brothers.
the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. That's the hardest part. Let's get it. Let's get it. That's the coldest verse on there,
Like
man.
like
I'm like, bro, he popped the blood vessel hard. He said,
I will
I'm like,
say,
I
as
know
soon
his
as I
neck veins
heard
was coming out.
what's that song, he like push these niggas off like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, I
That
did hear
track
that.
was funny.
I'm
I
like, hey,
forget what
I
song that
forgot what song you
is.
said that.
Is that
it's one of the early songs.
yeah? I think it was
Is it Rich Spirit?
it might be Rich Spirit,
Bro, I heard
bro.
that. I was like, I'm like, you said that? I mean,
Yeah. As soon as I heard that, I kept thinking about you and that guy with the PS4 controller.
God,
And the dude that was talking about the scams and stuff. That's exactly what I thought about as soon as I kept hearing it.
bro. When I first heard that, I thought about the first time we started saying we was playing Smash Bros. We was like, yeah, bro. Mario got that dumb move when he do his down there and then he push you away. He like, and I'm like, I heard Kendrick said, bro. Mario popped up my head like, I'm like, bro, that hood handbook.
But yeah, definitely a great album. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. Got a lot of good moments. Got a lot of good retros, like just to reflect on stuff. Family is beautiful. His family looks beautiful. You only give us a little bit, but they look happy and joyous. So yeah, heavy is the head that wears the crown. But next thing I wanted to talk about was Apex, and I'm sorry we took the longest route to get to the video gaming, but Apex Legends New Castle. Let's talk about it. So, first, another new black character in a while. Bangalore was the last. Seer is African, so or wherever he from, he ain't black. So this guy is meant to be a black guy. What do you think?
100%.
He a little too friendly for me at the voice actor.
Man,
But,
they can't put what's his name? Lamar from GTA.
Man, he
They
gotta be
can't put Lamar in there.
he gotta be a stepper. He gotta be somebody that's really tough out here. But nah, I'll just play. But nah, he's just more of a, that he fits the character of Newcastle. He's someone that is protect the team. His voice lines say the same. It basically it builds on that character. So Newcastle, if you don't know, is a new character in Apex Legends, and he has the fortified ability to kind of basically drop down a large area effect shield that kind of helps you, pick up your teammates, and things like that, protect yourself on the field or whatever you're doing. He can jump on teammates, so if a person is down, you can actually target your teammate and jump right in front of him and put your shield down, and now you're able to revive in a more easier way. He also has the passive to move the character as he is reviving, so you can actually reposition yourself as you revive a character. And his tactical is a portable shield that moves with you, and you can redirect at the push of a button. He's fun to play. I will admit that he's fun to play. Does he fit in the genre? Does he fit to the point where he can change the meta? In my opinion, no. Unfortunately, that's why I think they buffed Rampart so much. It's because her alongside Newcastle, defensive players are up. They up 10,000 right now. Defensive players are now if you run into a defensive player and you think you're gonna win that one off of the strength of, because you got more movement, it ain't happening, Captain. They have too many tools and disposable things that they not can do to really impact your movement and really make you play on their playing field. And that's what I enjoy about Newcastle. He came and he kind of made people rethink the hard push. The hard push is really hard when you got someone like Newcastle on your team who can not only throw down a mega shield that actually stuns you if you try to climb over it, but you also could just roll back out of there with your knockdown shield up and still be protected as you revive people. So it's just a win-win in a lot of different situations. So that's why he doesn't himself change the meta, but him and and in synergy with the rest of the defensive character, it does. I know we haven't played that much. I know you haven't seen them that much, but what do you guys what's your thoughts on Newcastle, or what's your current thoughts on Stormport even? Because it changed, I suppose.
Man, they added Cognizant on there and thought this map was going to be better, bro.
Explain what Cognizant is.
Man, it's the water arch theme from Final Fantasy IV, bro. Big old turtle demon thingy. But no, I'm just playing. But I mean, it do look like that, man. But I don't know. Storm Point a trash map. I don't know what needs to be more said about it. Like, I mean, they tried the map trash, but it's too much foliage, as Deontay put it. But I mean, I ain't had that.
We not playing Horizon Forbidden West. You trying to play Apex? Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah, it's just too many hills and stuff you get caught on, and just the map too big. I don't want to spend a bunch of time running stuff like that. I already went into all that before, but I mean, Newcastle, I don't really know what he could do. I actually bought him because I wanted to try playing with him or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I ain't never really. I ran into some Newcastle players and stuff like that, but I mean, they play just like everybody else. Probably mainly because you get the drop on them or something like that, so they can't really set up. Right. Maybe it's because it's Storm Point, the map just huge, and like I feel like defensive characters, they still effective, but they got to be within the right means. Versus on Olympus, I feel like they viable in a lot of other situations because it's a lot of different like environmental factors that can help you out. Whether you can kind of bunker down somewhere, or I feel like this level is just all hills and foliage and random dogs that try to eat you because you're in their territory, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I seen his ability and stuff like that. That little deployable shield thing. I guess he can move it or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's like a one-way thing or is it a two-way thing. Like can he shoot through it, or but it blocks shots or stuff like that. Or I shouldn't say one way and two. I should say maybe one way or no way. I guess would probably be better put. But yeah, I don't even know what his super doing stuff like that. He seemed like he kind of thicker on the thicker side. So I mean, I don't know if he like a bigger hitbox like Caustic and Gibraltar, but yeah, I don't got a whole lot. Me Lifeline till I die. Come and get your Lifeline package. I'm not just playing, but I ain't really got a whole lot to say. You've been playing with him, so I'm sure you got the you got the most to say.
Yeah, I think he fits that angle very well when it comes to building off of new, better, and defensive characters. Like I mean, Gibraltar is probably still one of the top tier players and top tier characters for ranked and any gameplay, because he's just so easy to understand, and like he has a area effect dome that you can just stop damage from all sides, right? Newcastle very much has to be a little bit more strategic, but the thing about Newcastle is he's very mobile, so he can push really well with his shield up and being able to redirect it to push up on a team. So say for instance you're stuck in a zone and you're trying to really push to get a team out the way, you can literally throw that thing down and let it guide you into the safe zone where you can actually push a team and get them out of their square. So and on Storm Point, it's not the greatest because there's just so much distance you have to travel to get to another person. But seeing this on Olympus, World's Edge, when you're trying to get from that one building, King of the Hill to, or even trying to come from that building we love to land on and go to that King of the Hill building, like he's going to make those pushes a lot easier for non-mobile characters like Lifeline that we play with all the time. So it's just a unique way to unlock new abilities and new techniques, and that's what I really enjoy. Obviously Rampart, her defensive is not moving as you go. You have to let it wait and set up. Like here's you throw it down, it's up, and you now moving. You're good to go. So just creating that space for him to kind of shine in, that mobility. Like you, when you use that jump mechanic, you can literally jump on top of buildings. So it's not just like, oh, I only can use this to jump in front of me. You can jump up. Like literally, if you want to put that thing down at the top of a freaking building and you're on the ground, you could do that. That's what unlocks a lot of mobility for this character and his ability to set up in unique spaces. So I found him to be quite enjoyable. And if people really get good with him, oh, he can be a terror. Oh, definitely. He can be a terrorist. So I think I think we just gotta wait and see. I'm glad that he doesn't feel overpowered, and I'm glad he doesn't feel underpowered. He's really in the sweet spot like Ash was when she launched. Um, the one thing I don't like is they trying to stop Rampart. I'm like, Rampart is in a good spot. Leave her alone. She got her little upgrade. She good now. Everybody's gonna want to play someone that feels actually good to play. So I don't think it's good for the team to go back to a bunch of race and octanes. I don't think it's good for the Apex in general to have a bunch of octanes and race running around. So I prefer people to have a defensive character, get used to other characters outside of just those two main ones and all the other movement characters. I really would like defense to shine because then it gives you the other options to kind of really use those unique abilities like fusies to kind of get people out of their cover, things like that. So I'm enjoying them. And Maggie got her thing where she can still smack you and get you up out of it too. So it's a lot of stuff to go behind, like all the designs and the characters. And I think they just hitting out the park right now. I don't think they missing. So I'm happy. Any final thoughts? Because pretty much that's all I had. I just truly enjoy him, and I'm glad that he's in there. But I ain't really got much else to say because I know at some point the next character gonna be around there, and I'm even happier. I mean, y'all saw the Apex mobile. I don't know if y'all saw it, but they announced that Fade character that can like rewind time. Basically, he ain't nothing but a tracer, um, and he can do like a big bubble that stops people from being able to take and deal damage. So he can like, yeah. So I mean, he got some unique abilities, and he's a mobile only character. So I feel like they got plenty in their bag. I think they do, and they just like,
Yeah,
we'll give them to
they
y'all
got
when we like it.
a lot of characters because I remember I think Newcastle was the Link name, but that was like back when Wraith
Yeah,
came out.
yeah, that was like
Um,
a while ago.
yeah. I don't have much to say about him because I haven't seen him in action too much, but what I've seen it seems interesting. Like I really like that his abilities seem unique in the sense where he has like the big jump, which no other character really has. I mean, like Loba can throw her thing, but he combines that also with like the defensive part, and so that gives him a nice, unique personality where he can hunker you down, but he's not just stuck being in one spot. Because that he's insinuated to move around and like use the environment. Um, so I like that, and I like that. Of course, there are more black characters being added to the game. Um, there, I mean, I didn't hate Seer, but I just didn't like Seer's playstyle, so that's why I never really played with him. But the
Hmm.
more characters they add, it just gives more options to different people. Some people will like Newcastle, some people won't. But more options and diversity. Um, if it's a new character I'm looking for, I'm still waiting for the wall running character because that's all I've been wanting. So we'll see.
True. But then you don't want them on Storm Point because you're gonna be climbing up rocks.
Running on mountains. Yeah.
It ain't gonna work out so well. So I think they probably gonna. I mean, Valkyrie is probably the best bet at this point when it comes to like jetpacks and movement. But hopefully they do have somebody that really can like, gravitate towards a wall like quickly and like move quickly. Because I think that'd be pretty cool. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it. That is the podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. If you got this far, you are really the OG. We have been doing this for quite a long time, and we thank you for listening and tuning in every week, or every 2 weeks. But outside of that, we gonna head up out of here. We talked, we listened, we laughed, we cried. But until next time, people, I will see you on the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Oh, anything last words from you guys? Any last things? Nothing.
Oh yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We're gonna hook up out of here. Peace.